This piece is called Rotisseries. Lisa and I end up at Chopsticks to sing karaoke. We stay until they kick us out. We ride our bikes home and stumble into my apartment. We turn off the lights. From my futon, I tell her that I don't have the spins, I have the slowly rotatings. You're like a chicken, she calls back. What? You're like a hot dog. Yeah, I laugh. I don't have the spins, I have the rotisseries. In the morning, I stumble down to the coffee shop to write. The barista with the neck tattoo tells me I look grumpy. I'm hungover, I say. When I leave, I tell him to take it easy, and he says, see you around, man. I hate it when boys call me man. Boy number 1. I have stress fractures in my ankles, but I don't know it yet. I think I have tendinitis. I'm dating someone who's ashamed of his hairy back, yet criticizes my abundant pubic hair. I limp around the grocery store where I work in the cheese department. At 8 a.m., I roll my cart loaded with feta, fresh mozzarella, and sliced Gouda out to the stand-up case to stock the morning cheese. I lean on the cart like it's a walker. The lanky, perishable grocery assistant manager is stocking the commodity cheese. He looks up and asks me why I'm limping. I have tendinitis, I say. He gives me a sympathetic smile. I've been studying energy work, he says. He's in school for holistic medicine and massage. Our bodies are like batteries. They have positive and negative poles. For example, if I touched you here, he indicates my ankle, and then you touched me here, he indicates his neck, his shoulder, his head, his hair. It would create a circuit of positive and negative energy flowing through our bodies. I don't say anything. Boy number 2. He's shorter than me, much shorter. He pulls on a cigarette and doesn't inhale. I think I have cancer, he says. I have cancer too, I think. I lose my virginity to him. Boy number 3, he approaches me in the courtyard of the community college and asks me to draw my picture in exchange for a cigarette. I agree. Hey, that looks just like you, I say when he's done. Yeah, I know, it's all I can draw. Everything just ends up looking like a drawing of myself. Here's a cigarette, thanks. Boy number 3 again. 4 years later, he calls me up out of the blue and asks me if I want to go get a drink with him. I've just graduated from college and I'm working at the restaurant where I worked before I went to college. He's been fired from his job as a janitor at the funeral parlor. Why did they fire you, I ask. My boss made this action at me, just joking like he was going to shoot me, with his arms. I told him I didn't think that was very funny. It really scared me. You just shouldn't joke about things like that. He thought I was overreacting, so he fired me. Are you still painting? No, but he still lives with his strange, disapproving parents in a cul-de-sac near the lake. It's dark when I pull up. When my headlights hit the front bay window, he comes out, pulling a thin tan jacket up over his gray T-shirt. He jumps into the passenger seat and closes the door. Pull around the corner here, he says, pointing around the corner of his house towards the backyard. He still hasn't looked me in the eyes. I size him up. He's gained what looks like a lot of water weight. His hair is greasy. Just pull around the corner here. I needed to get my beer. I thought that's what we're doing. We're going to get a drink. I don't have any money. I have some beer hiding around the corner here, behind the shed. He points and makes a whirly motion with his index finger. Why don't I just buy you a drink? I have all this beer already. How many beers do you want to buy me? He keeps pointing. I feel weird now, sitting in the driveway with my lights on and motor running. I pull slowly out of the driveway. I really don't care, I say. Besides, where are you going to drink them? In the car? He ignores me and keeps pointing to the backyard. I'll just run around and get them. You drive the car away from the block and then stop, and I can run back and get them so they don't see. Why are you hiding beer outside? My parents don't like me drinking. I'm driving my car very slow now. Why not? It makes the medication I'm taking stop working. He's looking out through the dark window at the backyard. His nose is so close to the glass it's almost touching. What medication are you on? Antipsychotics. His breath fogs up the window. Oh. Just go around the corner here. He still hasn't said hi or looked me in the eye. He keeps staring out the window. Boy number 4. I'm still limping around with my stress fractures. He calls me and asks me if I want to meet him at the Pals downtown for coffee. I limp to the bus station and make it all the way downtown. I'm grouchy and in pain. I wait for 20 minutes in the crowded coffee shop, and when he shows up, he sits down and shoves his chair sideways, slightly away from me. He looks over my shoulder and sits with his body facing halfway away from me. We exchange small talk until he starts to tell me about the bug that flew into his ear and died. He was on his bike and it flew into his ear. His immediate reaction was to slap the side of his face. This action killed the bug inside his ear, and he'd recently had to go to the doctor to have it removed. Do you want to see it? He asks. Of course. He pulls a piece of tissue out of the breast pocket of his jean jacket and carefully unfolds it. I examine the remains. It's hard to tell exactly what species of bug it is, as smashed as it is. I think it means something that this happened, he says, placing the bug carefully back into his pocket with a nod. What do you mean? That my first reaction was to kill the bug. I think it means I should stop eating meat again. You think you killed the bug because you eat meat now? It was my first instinct to kill the bug. It flew into your ear while you were biking. But I don't think I would have done that had I still been a vegetarian. Look, I say, when I pour out my little fish tank to clean it out, my goldfish first instinct is to swim against the current, even though what I'm doing is for his benefit. We can't help our instincts. He just stares at me. Conversation is over. He asks me if I want to go see Jackass the movie. No, I don't want to go see that movie. He walks and I limp down to the Mexican restaurant attached to the back of the strip club. He orders a burrito and I order a beer. If I remember correctly, he talks about his new cat for the rest of our time together, and then I leave. Boy number 5. I'm lying in bed with an engineer. Last night over a beer, he told me about his job. My job involves making curves in roads so that everyone's comfortable. Like if someone is driving along a bridge I've built, they won't get that roller coaster effect. Their stomach won't flip-flop. I make the curve as steep as possible without that happening so people can drive as fast as possible without feeling sick. If people feel sick, it doesn't mean their speed is unsafe per se, but it means that they'll immediately slow down, which will impede the steady flow of traffic. Your job is to make the road as dangerous as possible? Yes, he says, basically.
You've been listening to a snippet of Livewire, the radio variety show that's like a chew toy for your brain. For more information about the show or to download our podcast, visit livewireradio.org.